How's it going, laser bruisers? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Quantum Suicide. Now we are working our way down the left-hand path on the female run. So really here we're on bidding wars. It doesn't make any difference whether we win or lose. It is completely irrelevant. We're going to have to come back and do the other option anyway. So let's just see what happens, I guess. Let's go with 1333. That
Everyone
was
supports our team
always
captain,
good.
right?
Yes.
Yep.
Thank
Okay,
you for your
and
entry.
next.
Please exit the dining hall so...
Yeah.
Well, I guess all we can do now is wait.
For your information, waiting is one of my finest skills. Watch this. We all stood silently and watched Yoshiki. See? How good am I at waiting? Shizuka let out a nervous laugh while Nicola seemed uninterested in the situation. After a few tense minutes of waiting, Team B exited the dining hall. Dai followed, boisterous as usual.
Wonderful start to the betting war,
Yeah.
if you would be so kind. And the winner of round one is...
Is that us? Team A?
It was a close one, but
Team B, okay. I can never tell. I still don't know how this works.
let's move on to round two.
But it
Team
doesn't
A,
matter.
you are up again.
Alright, let's do the do.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
1 loss in 3 isn't bad.
Oh no, we're already losing. I'm gonna kill someone. Calm down. Let's go with that one.
Thank you. If you would be so...
Go.
And the winner of
Who's the winner?
Really? Tie.
Please die, no more math.
Team,
Alright. One more round.
your 5 minutes starts now.
Guys, we are losing.
Only a little bit.
This is fine. In most games, the team that is losing is given some advantage to level the playing field.
Really? That's great. What's our advantage?
I don't know yet.
I don't want anyone to die.
Okay, here's what our options are.
Oh, you're gonna give us options now. Okay, let's go 1522. No, let's go 37. 37.
Congratulations, Team A!
Hey, we won.
After 3 rounds, you have come out victorious.
That might be the first time we've won one on our first attempt.
And that means, Team B, you lose. Congrats!
I'm so sorry.
Enough of that. Now for the prize
Katashi.
winner. Congratulations, Katashi! All right, well, let's get to it. But first, just let me take the time to really congratulate all of our winners and our losers. Isn't teamwork just the greatest?
Woo! Yes, lovely. Shizuka's face swelled with grief as she approached Katashi and grabbed hold of his shirt sleeves.
Oh no! Our winning wasn't supposed to sentence you to death!
I never believe you mean for me to die, kiddo.
No! Please, anyone else!
Katashi patted Shizuka on the head as she began to weep.
I should have lost. Then you would still be okay.
Oh, kiddo, you're never gonna lose. This game's your thing.
Should have lost on purpose.
No, you shouldn't have. You had your team to protect, and you did a wonderful job.
But
I was Team B's captain, and I would gladly die to protect my team.
Katashi!
Some games you win, some games you lose. In my case, it's usually lose. Katashi let out a hearty laugh before the captain interrupted.
I'm sorry, Katashi. I tried to ensure we all had points.
I know you did, Captain. But as you said, it was important that we protect Melody. And we did. Besides, it's quite fitting, isn't it? After all, I was the one who triggered the game to start early in the first place.
Shizuka shuffled to the back of the crowd. Although she was doing her best to hide her face, I could hear her quietly crying. Dai meaningfully cleared her throat.
Yes, I agree. Super fitting. Now let's get on with it.
Shut up, Dai. Dai materialized the wheel in front of her and it started spinning immediately. Her eyes widened as she watched it spin. Tick, tick, tick.
Oh, how fitting, Katashi.
Oh, we've
You're
seen
going
this
to be
one.
cooked to death.
Can't come up with anything new.
Excuse me?
I'm not the first person to die from being cooked.
Katashi, don't be insensitive.
The captain placed a reassuring hand on the back of Melody's head. Melody was planted firmly at Kimiko's side, grabbing tight to the captain's legs with both arms. Alright, well, we're gonna skip the cooking. Unless something new happens, I doubt it will, and I'll bring you back probably at the start of chapter 3, I assume. Alrighty, we are back, and that was exactly the same. So I won't put you through that one again, because that one's horrific. Anyway, not as bad as Shizuka's unicorn horn thing, but still. Katashi's image was seared into my brain, making sleep an impossibility. I could still smell the aftermath of the game. The pungent stench of charred human flesh was not something I ever wanted to revisit, even in my mind. I needed a distraction, so decided to take refuge in the rec room. It probably wouldn't even take the edge off the pain, but at least watching a movie would stop me from seeing Katashi everywhere I looked, and every time I closed my eyes. I arrived to find the TV was already occupied. Shizuka sat staring intently at the screen, her face a wet mask of tears. She continued to watch as if I wasn't there. Hey, Shizuka? Shizuka didn't turn to face me. I was wondering... What are you watching? Is this a famous movie? What type of...
Please stop talking!
I saw you're upset and thought...
Are you not upset?
Well, of course I am. I can't sleep because I'm so upset.
Your team chose to kill Katashi! Why would you be as upset as I am?
Shizuka, that's not fair and you know it. Shizuka's voice started to waver.
Neither is Katashi not being here anymore.
A pained silence fell over the room. I had to break the stalemate somehow. Shizuka, I'm sorry. Shizuka finally looked me in the eye. Her face was softer than before.
I'm watching Katashi's favorite movie.
Shizuka indicated a seat next to her. I took the hint and sat.
It's called Sisyphean.
Oh, what's it about?
It's about a man in love and his struggle to reach his happily ever after. It's a very romantic movie.
It's not about a man pushing a boulder up a cliff forever. Do you like romantic movies? Shizuka smiled as she wiped the tears from her eyes. No.
Not really.
Yeah, I didn't think
But
so.
Katashi couldn't get enough of them. This movie was his favorite, though.
Why's that?
I'm not really sure, but I think it might be because of me.
Oh, how's that?
This movie was originally a video game that got a movie adaptation.
So it was a game first.
Yeah, Katashi might have thought that would appeal to me more, so he would always get me to watch it with him.
And did you?
I sat with him once while he watched it, but I was playing video games at the same time.
Shizuka continued holding back tears.
I should have just watched it with him, even once. I should have been there for him. And now, I'll never get the chance again.
Shizuka's dam burst. I paused the movie and scooched closer to her for a hug. Shizuka began calming down in my arms. I'm sure he was grateful even to have you sit next to him. I know that I am. Shizuka pulled away from me just enough so he could lock eyes with me.
Really?
I nodded sincerely.
Thank you. I really needed to hear that.
Anytime. Shizuka snuggled back in closer and started the movie from the beginning. Over 2 hours later, the movie's credits rolled. I'd enjoyed the plot. It made me think about our limited time on Earth, and having no regrets about how we used it.
Thank you for watching with me.
It was my pleasure. I really enjoyed it.
Me too. I think I can see why it was his favorite.
Yeah, me too.
I especially like the part where he was eaten by a giant cat.
How long have you been there, Dai?
Long enough to know that movie was actually pretty good.
You like romantic movies?
Wait, that was a romantic movie?
Yeah?
Huh. Then I guess I do. I always knew I was a romantic at heart.
Who would have thought?
So why are you here?
It's time for the new Deletion Game explanation.
How exciting. Be still my heart. So we should go to the dining hall.
Bingo!
Alright, let us just tidy up here.
Oh, honey, I do love how submissive you are.
Dai cackled as she zapped out of the room. Shizuka and I put everything back where it belonged, still bathing in the warm afterglow of a good movie. At the dining hall, the entire crew was already assembled.
About time, you two.
Huh?
We have been waiting for almost an hour now.
What, really?
But we only just got told to come here.
Guilty as charged.
What is the meaning of this, Dai?
Well, I went to collect these two, but they were watching a movie. I was going to interrupt it, but then I got hooked and finished watching the movie with them.
Seriously? We have all been wasting our time here for over an hour while you watched a movie?
The captain was not pleased with the situation, and it showed.
Capitan, need I remind you who's in charge here?
Dai pointed at herself haughtily. The captain's eyes twitched.
Never mind that. How dare you waste my crew's precious time?
But,
In the future, you will refrain from this nonsense.
again, I'm in charge.
The captain's face took on such a menacing appearance that all the lights in the room seemed to go dark.
Your fun only lasts while there are crew members to play with. Push your luck any further with me, Dai, and I will take away that which gives you pleasure.
Was the captain threatening to kill us, just to spite Dai?
Captain,
Nicholas placed his hand on the captain's shoulder. She reeled at his touch, and her head snapped around as if released from a trance.
I'm sorry, Captain.
I apologizing? What kind of fresh hell was this?
In the future, I will not waste your time, Captain. On that note,
She's scary.
let's get down to the explanation of the new game. Allow me to welcome you all to the new round of the Deletion
Alright, skip
Game.
ahead.
Vampire children.
Alright, we've seen all of the black hole thing as well, so we skip that as well. A sudden jab to my cheek brought me to.
Hey, wake up!
I stared to see Shizuka perched on the side of my bed, continuing to poke me in the face. Really? Can't a girl sleep around here without someone ruining it every night?
That's why I'm here.
To ruin my sleep? This had better be good.
I know that the captain woke you up this morning in my place, and I wanted to make it up to you. Besides, it's practically dinner time.
Come again? I shot out of bed, snatching up my tablet as I pulled on clothes. She was right, it was almost 5 p.m. I slept through the entire day.
You must have really needed it.
I didn't have time to sleep through days. I might have just wasted my last day alive.
I would have woken you up sooner, but
But what? Shizuka looked very bashful.
I only just woke up too.
I guess we're both equally hopeless.
Yeah, but at least we're hopeless together.
It's true.
It's 1,000 times better than being lonely.
I guess you're right.
Well, now that we're both awake, how about we do something with what's left of the day?
Like what?
Well, I was thinking that maybe we could play some games.
Unicorn Revenge? Why am I not surprised?
So, you in?
Damn straight.
Yes! I'll go get everything set up for us.
Let me run through the shower, grab some research material, and to read while we play. I'll be there in half an hour. Shizuka could barely contain herself, yelling at her reply to me as she was already halfway down the hallway.
See you soon.
Oh, she's great. I shot through the shower and grabbed the box of research from the lab on the way to the rec room.
It's probably a good thing you brought some work to do.
Why's that?
Well, tonight we'll be playing The Letter. And it's only one player, so we'll have to take turns.
Oh, Death for Death. My favourite. I guess everything has worked out perfectly then. I smiled and took a seat next to Shizuka as the game's opening screen came to life. I sifted through papers, reading more of my parents' work as Shizuka sat glued to the TV. I pulled the pocket watch out and stared at it once more. It still looked exactly as it did last time I saw it. I sighed with disappointment. More than an hour passed and I still didn't get a turn. Shizuka was quite the hog, it seemed. When's my turn?
Like, when it's your turn, it's your turn.
That doesn't even make sense. So how will I know?
Almost done. Hang on.
A few minutes later, Shizuka finally ripped herself away from the game and reluctantly handed me the controller.
There. You happy?
I am, thank you. I realized very quickly that because I'd been studying my notes, I was not sure what was happening in the game. So Shizuka. Do you think we'll make it to the end?
I haven't failed to finish a game once. I'm not about to start now.
I like that attitude. I'm in the Deletion Game. Do you think we'll make it?
I don't know about you, but I have no plans to lose.
Shizuka put her best game face on. Well, let's hope for my sake I'm on your team. Shizuka and I played well into the early hours of the morning. Shizuka had fallen asleep in her chair by 3 a.m, but I powered through, only to be rewarded with one of the game's worst possible endings. I hope this isn't an omen. I looked at the time, 4:17 a.m. It was well past time to get Shizuka and myself off to our respective beds. As I moved to pack up, a light peeked out from the box containing my research material. I rubbed my eyes to ensure I wasn't hallucinating. If I didn't know any better, I'd say the watch was... It's on. I'm not imagining things, it's definitely on. Shizuka didn't stir. Adrenaline flooded my body and my mind grew giddy with excitement. I was overwhelmed with emotion as I held our salvation in my hands, considering what to do next. Oh, we got heaps of time. Push the button. Without any hesitation, I pressed the button. No longer did I hear that all too familiar buzzing sound that marked my failure. The world went black. Give me a word, game. I woke up finding myself on the floor of the rec room, dazed, confused, and feeling extremely nauseous. I sat up, greeted with the fact that neither Shizuka nor the precious box of research were anywhere to be seen. Ugh. I suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
I am registering sounds of distress in your vocal tone. Are you alright?
I'm fine, I'm just feeling a little queasy. I got to my feet, requiring a lot more effort than I was prepared for.
Very well. I have other matters to attend to.
I gathered what wits I could muster and navigated my way back to my room. I lay on my bed for a moment, taking the time to let my body settle. I noticed the time flashing at me from the bedside. Just after 8 a.m, not long till the next game then. I was in the middle of trying to recall exactly what the Deletion Game rules were when my door buzzed. Come in. Through the doorway came a young woman with long, straight black hair and unmatching eyes. She wore the same uniform as me.
I have some good news and some bad news.
Elisabeth, you're new. How do you know my name? The woman stopped dead in her tracks.
Are you okay?
Yeah, she was clearly in a rush to bring me the news, so she didn't stay phased for long.
The good news is, I've uncovered another clue to the deactivation code for Dai. I was able to access partial records from the date of the incident and recover the letters AD.
I told you. You remember? Was it last episode? At the very start, I said ad astra per aspera, and it was going to be ad. Confirmed. Now we got 4. We just need 1 more, and I don't know where the frick we're going to get it. You have a piece of the code.
That is what I just said.
Suddenly, I appeared in the room, addressing the young woman.
Elisabeth, you have been requested in the lab.
Thanks,
By
Elisabeth.
whom?
Jordan. She looked at me quizzically, her brain clearly processing this news at light speed before replying.
Thank you, I. Please tell her I will be there presently.
She gets it.
Very well.
I bowed and disappeared.
I know what's going on here.
You do?
You have traveled here using the pocket watch. Am I correct in this assumption?
The watch worked?
It would appear so. I have been working alongside you. Well, you in the lab for some time. And so I'm well versed in your research.
And it's girl me here too, so we're both girls this time. But this is fantastic news. Not only this, you have a piece of the deactivation code.
Well, it isn't so much the code as a small piece of the larger puzzle.
Either way, it's huge progress.
Well, it's nice to meet you. My name is Elisabeth, and I'm a computer programmer on the Everett. It seems safe to assume that I don't exist in your dimension, considering your lack of recognition when we met.
Yeah, sorry about that. I must have seemed pretty rude.
I understand the confusion, so please, don't worry about it.
Elisabeth was silent for a moment, deep in thought.
If you wouldn't mind, could you please remain here in your quarters while I go speak to the captain about the situation? I think it would be best to not have you two together on the bridge just yet.
Is it like Shadow of Destiny? If we touch each other, do we cease to exist? Of course, I'll gladly wait here. I know that's a time travel one, but, you know. Elisabeth smiled and left the room. I look around, surprised at how differently the room actually looked from my own. This dimension's me was a real pig. 10 minutes later, Elisabeth returned.
Thank you for waiting. The captain is on her way to see you now.
But she's scary and always kills me. Please don't. Did she take it well?
Yes, very well, in fact.
That's great. As soon as the words were out of my mouth, the captain arrived.
Thank you for joining us.
It's good to see you, Captain.
We should work together in solving both the Dai and resource crisis.
I completely agree.
But first, let us all go to the dining room to discuss our plans further in a more suitable environment.
I nodded my consent and followed them both down the corridor. Many of the crew were assembled in the dining hall already, including some familiar faces. Beatrix, Katashi...
How can I help you, sailor?
Hearing Beatrix's voice again was surreal. I felt myself getting choked up at the mere sound. I imagine that no one had ever been this happy to see Beatrix. Nothing, just nice to see you. Beatrix gave me a rather confused smile before turning back to her conversation with Nicholas, who was seated directly beside her.
Please, take a seat.
I did so, and the captain did the same.
I have the pocket watch here, and so can confirm your dimension.
I patted my pockets, realizing in horror that the pocket watch was nowhere inside. I can't find mine.
Yours?
My pocket watch.
Pocket watches do not carry over dimensions with you.
They don't?
No, you explained that to me, as well as told me that this number here is your dimension, and this one here is ours.
The captain pointed at the pocket watch as she described each number. I had a feeling about that.
So you have come from dimension...
72. So this must be 22.
Correct.
Suddenly, the proceedings were interrupted by Dai zapping into the room.
What in the world is happening here? Are you all so eager to die? I usually have to drag you all kicking and screaming for the deletion game.
The deletion game's happening right now?
What's wrong with them? Regardless, with everyone, let's start the game.
What game? Dai seemed confused by my question.
What game?
Is it Vampire Children?
Yup, and has been for almost a week.
Okay, of course. But we're missing Jordan.
Seriously, what is wrong with you?
She should be playing, not me. Dai looked incredulously at the captain, who simply shrugged his shoulders. Captain, you know I'm not from here. Tell Dai where the other me is.
Sorry, Dai. I am unsure what she is talking about. I think the pressure has just gotten to her.
As usual, the captain's a psycho. No, there is no pressure. She's lying. I pointed at the captain, my index finger shaking uncontrollably with rage.
Ooh, accusing the captain of lying? This is getting heated, and I love it.
She came to me and told me she was chosen as a vampire. When I declined to be her Clyde, she lost her mind with anger, and has been acting like this ever since.
This never happened, and you know it.
I know you enjoy games, Dai, but we have all decided not to breed with her already. So why not just jump to the execution?
Wait, what? Really? You're happy with me just killing her?
It would simply be a waste of our time otherwise.
I think we finally agreed on something, Capitan. Feels nice, like we're bonding.
I'm not Jordan. I'm Jordan. Even to my own ears, I sounded insane.
Wow. Get a grip. Or not. To the shuttle bay!
Di cackled as Beatrix and Nicholas laid their hands on me, dragging me, kicking and screaming the whole way to the shuttle bay. I'm not from here. The other me must be hiding.
No, I had bets on who would snap under the pressure, but wow, was I wrong there.
You're killing the wrong Jordan. Nicholas and Beatrix threw me in the decompression chamber, the small airlock between us and the infinite open space.
Have fun in space! Continue screaming out there. See if anyone can hear you.
I'll see you all in hell. Seconds after the airlock doors opened, and instantly the air in my lungs was sucked straight out of me, my body careening out into space right after. I was barely conscious for more than a moment before blackness swallowed both me and my silent screams. You have died. Okie dokie, well, I'll bring you back at the not pressing the button on the pocket watch, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, here we go. Don't push any buttons, let's see what happens. Well, we know what's going to happen really. We're going to come to the machine to enter the password. We still don't have it, and then we'll die in some horrific way. Let's do it. I wasn't thinking straight. There was no time to randomly pushing buttons. I returned the watch to my pocket. Shizuka snored loudly, snapping me out of my contemplation. Drool ran down her chin in slow rivulets. Shizuka, wake up! She stirred and moaned, but it would take more than just that to get her up. Plead with her? Shizuka, please get up. This much sleep can't be good for you.
But I've always slept this long.
There might be still time to change your ways and prevent you from falling asleep into eternal slumber.
Eternal slumber. That sounds nice.
Doesn't sound too bad. I tapped my foot in irritation. Shizuka knew how to test my patience, alright. Shizuka, if you don't get out of this chair right now, I'm going to step on your console. Shizuka flinched, but her eyes stayed stubbornly shut.
I know, you would never do that.
How certain are you? Shizuka decided it wasn't worth the risk and opened her eyes in panic.
Fine! You win this time, you big bully.
She rose up zombie-like and swaying side to side like a pendulum. There, that wasn't so hard now, was it? Shizuka attempted and failed to stifle a huge yawn before leaving the rec room.
Night.
Alright, problem number 1 solved. Now to get better rested so the watch problem won't seem so daunting. I picked up my parents' research and plodded dreamily back to my quarters. I left the watch on the bedside table and slid into bed, which received me like a long-lost friend. Despite the flurry of thoughts in my head, I was asleep within minutes. Hey Jordan. Huh?
I
What?
think your alarm clock thingy is broken.
What alarm? I slowly opened my eyes to see Di staring quizzically at something on the bedside table. I sat up at light speed, making Di look at me oddly. I stopped myself, knowing that I shouldn't draw too much attention to myself by acting strange. I casually picked up the watch from where it lay. Oh yeah, the alarm clock. Weird, it's not making any noise. I wonder what's wrong with it.
You should get Yoshiki to fix it.
That's a very helpful suggestion. Thanks, Di. I'll go and do that right away. Why is she being helpful? I cocked my head, suspicious of how quickly she had been taken in by my not at all convincing acting abilities.
I know how clumsy he is. I was hoping that he might electrocute himself while taking it apart.
I don't think it's possible to electrocute yourself on a watch. They're pretty low voltage. And here I was thinking you were being helpful.
He might still fix it by giving his life heroically, and then we both win.
I'd rather it remain broken and him live.
That's because you're selfish. You're only ever thinking of yourself.
I'm too tired for this, Di.
Well, that's your fault for being up so late, isn't it?
How do you know I was up late?
I'll give you a hint. It starts with an S and ends in a Shizuka.
Wait, Yoshiki told you?
You really do crack me up.
So, might as well tell me why you're here.
I'm here to assign your role for today's Deletion Game.
I totally forgot the game was about to begin. I've been so preoccupied with the watch. I sighed and prepared myself for the worst.
Now, it's not that bad. In fact, I would say.
What? What would you say, Dai?
I can't lie to you. I'm sorry.
Oh god, I'm the vampire, aren't I?
What? No.
Then why are you sorry?
I'm sorry because you're a human.
But that's good, right?
Clearly you don't quite grasp the coolness factor of vampires. Frankly, I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed in myself, honestly. Yes, that's it. I hadn't accounted for their coolness factor.
Interesting vampire. Interesting vampire coming your way. Although Christian religious symbols such as crosses and holy water are often associated with combating vampires, Christianity didn't exist until thousands of years after the first vampire tales were told.
Do you have any useful information for me?
Okay. In some cultures, those born with red hair were considered the most likely to be vampires.
How does that help?
Maybe it's a hint about who on this ship is a vampire.
Dai winked and tapped her nose knowingly.
Well, this has been nice, but I need to continue my rounds.
No one has
Last
red
up,
hair.
El Capitan.
Yoshiki? Dai strode through the door, flickering as she crossed the boundary. Relief washed over me as she departed and then ebbed immediately as the deletion game drew closer. At least I'm not a vampire. Perfect. At least I think it is. The watch had returned to its place on my bedside table. I had to keep my mind on the task at hand. The PA system crackled to life overhead.
Thank you all for your cooperation. You are now free to pass the time as you please. The game will commence in 2 hours. Good luck!
I can't wait to die horribly. Alright, time to talk to the crew and work out a game strategy. Before the thought had even formed, I appeared to put an end to that.
We need to speak.
Alright, we can skip this
I
stuff.
do not have long.
Alrighty. We are back from the server room. Right outside my door, Shizuka was awaiting my return, bouncing on her heels in an agitated fashion.
About time.
What are you doing
I
here?
wanted to tell you something. Something for your trusted ears alone.
You're the vampire. Go on.
Promise not to tell? Cross your heart and hope to die?
I would never betray you, Shizuka. You're my favorite. Of course,
Lower
Shizuka.
your voice. I'll tell you inside.
Shizuka put her hands on my shoulders and marched me inside. The door slid shut behind us, Shizuka not taking her eyes off it until it was fully sealed. So, tell me this big secret of yours.
I'm the vampire, and I was hoping that you would...
Shizuka's gaze must have been spotted, the watch illuminating from my room from its spot on the table, because a wild, excited look suddenly overcame her features.
What's that?
She darted around me, snatched the watch up, and jumped on my bed. I threw my hands up in the air as a sign of utter resignation. There was going to be no coaxing her down once she was in this state. Shizuka, please be careful, it's not a toy. Shizuka was now bouncing up and down at light speed, eyes fixed on the glowing
Why does it
face.
have a light on? What's this button for? What does it do? Can I have a...
Shizuka continued with her machine gun fire questions, clearly not about to stop anytime soon. If she accidentally pressed the button, we could be in real trouble. I had to defuse the situation, and fast. Shizuka, I'd love to be your Clyde. Shizuka stopped bouncing immediately.
Really? You'd risk everything to play two-player with me?
Of course. There's no one on the ship I'd rather team up with. Shizuka's face radiated pure happiness.
We will definitely win. I know we will.
Of course. So why don't you come down here and...
after this.
Shizuka grinned like a dopey puppy as she pressed the first button she could lay her hands on. The pocket watch let out an unfamiliar noise, and before I could do anything, Shizuka dissipated before my eyes, just like I and Dai do. The watch fell from where her head had just was, and bounced gently on the bed's mattress, a few times before coming to rest. The watch's face was now revealing numbers behind the panels, the left reading 72 and the right reading 22. Shizuka. Shizuka? I don't know why I looked around the room for her, knowing what I just saw, but a part of me was hoping it wasn't true. Think, Jordan, think. I have no real choice. I can tell the captain I accidentally lost Shizuka or I can go after her. I gulped nervously as I held the watch in my hands, my eyes shut, and pressed the button. This is the same as last time. Pretty much. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw the pocket watch floating just out of reach. With the last shred of breath in my lungs, I tried to propel myself towards it. But it was such a feeble effort that I may as well have savoured the last lungful a bit longer. A lifeless Shizuka hovered above, a blue skin snap frozen by the relentless cold of space. What had gone wrong? I tried to tell Shizuka that we would have lived if we played the game. Well, We'll never know now. We teleported into space and died. Well, shit, son. That's pretty craptacular. Girl. Alright, well, we're going to wrap this one up here, obviously, because we're out of time for today. In the next one, we're going to work down the right-hand side of the left-hand side here. And once we've worked our way through that, we will have done all of the main paths that I know how to do. Obviously, there's some we don't know how to do still, but hopefully we get the 5th word in this path. I guess we'll find out. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out for me, and I'll see you in the next one.